Now that we've learned Excel and SQL, we will now be discussing Tableau, one of the most popular data visualization tools out there. To remind you, we were in the fourth step of our data analysis process. In this module, we will briefly discuss the Tableau platform for your understanding, then we will move to building your first dashboard. What is Tableau? Tableau is a business intelligence tool and data visualization platform that helps users connect, analyze, and share their data by creating interactive dashboards and reports, ultimately enabling data-driven decision-making. Now, why are data visualization tools like Tableau important? Tableau is one of the most powerful data visualization tools out there. It helps users turn complex data into clear interactive dashboards that drive real insights and better decision-making. With its easy drag and drop interface, you don't need to be a coder to explore your data. We have charts, graphs, and maps to make patterns pop, so you can spot trends, outliers, and opportunities fast. Tableau also makes it easy to communicate findings. Whether you're talking to a technical team or executives, visual dashboards make your message clear. Need real-time insights? Tableau's live dashboards help you monitor performance and respond quickly to change. And with the mobile access, you can stay in the loop from anywhere. Plus, it connects to tons of data sources, giving you a full picture, not just a slice. Bottom line, Tableau empowers you to explore, communicate, and act on your data smarter and faster. As you can see, most Tableau developers make six figures. A Tableau developer is a subset of a data analyst, senior data analyst, BI analyst, or business intelligence analyst, and analytics consultant. So when you're getting started with Tableau, Tableau is technically not free. You have Tableau Creator, Tableau Explorer, and Tableau Viewer, all with different permissions. What we're going to be using in this module to learn is Tableau Public. Tableau Public is a free platform. It's great for beginners who want to create and share visualizations online. With Tableau Public, you can explore pre-built dashboards, re-engineer them, upload your data, and even start building your first visualizations in minutes. So now when you're signing up for Tableau Desktop, you'll just need to install the product and read and accept the license agreement. Here we have four key types of data analytics. Descriptive analytics tells us what happened. It summarizes historical data to give us insights into past trends and performance. Predictive analytics helps us understand what might happen in the future by using statistical models and forecasting techniques. Inferential analytics allows us to make generalizations about a population based on a sample, answering why something happened or whether a pattern is significant. And prescriptive analytics goes a step further by telling us what actions we should take using optimization and simulation algorithms. Now, this dashboard will be a descriptive analytics dashboard. However, if you want to dive deeper into these analytics types and learn how to apply them in real-world projects, please join our Echelon AIQ community where we'll grow and learn together. So in this module, we'll be using Tableau Public. However, it's good to get familiar, especially during your interviews and on the job, to get familiar with Tableau Desktop. This is available for personal as well as professional. But typically, you're not going to pay that amount of money for desktop unless you want to specialize in Tableau, which is a good path, career path. Typically, you'll first get your hands on Tableau Desktop in a corporate setting, so it's mostly professional. Let's explore the Tableau product portfolio. You have Tableau Prep, a tool for cleaning, shaping, preparing your data for analysis. Tableau Desktop, the main platform for creating interactive dashboards and in-depth visualizations. Tableau Cloud, a web-based platform to share and collaborate dashboards real time. And then Tableau Server, which is an enterprise solution for hosting and managing Tableau dashboards within your organizations. Now, I added this slide to show you, this is from a prominent management consulting group called Gartner, in which they show which business intelligence platforms are the most popular and the most well known and used. With Tableau consistently ranks as a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for analytics and business intelligence platforms. The highest is actually Microsoft Power BI, which we have as well with Echelon AIQ. This recognition highlights Tableau's innovation, usability, and ability to empower organizations with data driven insights. So, in this module, you'll be creating your first dashboard with IMDb movie dataset. It's over 5,000 movies scraped from the IMDb website. The dataset is from Kaggle, scraped using Python library called Scrapy. So now this is the dashboard we are going to build. It's going to be an IMDb movie dashboard in which we're going to create insightful business intelligence. If you haven't already, I want you to download Tableau Public and connect to the text file, the CSV file, IMDb movie dataset. This will help you throughout this module and to create your first dashboard. If you want a challenge, try to use the slides only to build your first dashboard. And then you can look at the video to see if you've made any mistakes. Let's get started. Let's start with an overview of the Tableau interface. At the top, you'll have toolbar for accessing various functions, the left-hand side containing the data pane, where you can see dimensions and measures for analysis. In the center, you have the canvas, where your visualizations are created. And the columns and the row shelves at the top allow you to drag and drop fields to customize your views. Now you have the filters, pages, and marks located below for adding interactivity and enhancing the visualization. Understanding this layout will help you navigate Tableau efficiently as we start building visualizations. Let's take a closer look at field icons and data types. Tableau categorizes fields as dimensions or measures. Dimensions are typically qualitative data. Remember that term? Like names or categories, while measures are quantitative data, like sales or profit. You can recognize field types by their icons: a globe for geographical data, a hashtag for numbers, and an ABC for text. Mastering these basics ensures that your data is accurately represented in visualizations. Let's talk bar charts. Bar charts are excellent for comparing categories, like sales by region or revenue by product. Tableau makes it easy to create bar charts. Simply drag your category to the row shelf and your measure to the column shelf. You can sort bars, add labels, and apply filters to make the chart more insightful. This is one of the first charts you'll create when working in Tableau, as it provides immediate clarity on your data. The Show Me tab in Tableau is a quick way to create visualizations. It offers a variety of chart types like bar charts, line charts, scatter plots, and maps. To use it, select the fields you want to analyze. Then choose the recommended visualization from the Show Me panel. This feature is perfect for beginners who are unsure which chart type best represents the data. Explore some visualizations using the Show Me tab as we move forward. Sometimes Tableau may inaccurately assign categorical data to measures instead of dimensions. To correct this, right-click the field, hover over Convert To, and select Dimension. This step ensures Tableau treats data as qualitative, grouping it by categories rather than aggregating it. Understanding this, how to manage dimensions and measures, is crucial for building accurate data visualizations. Line charts are ideal for showing trends over time. On the left, we see a continuous line chart, which works well for data like sales over days or months. It's continuous. Now notice when you make the change to the quantity pill. Text tables only work on discrete dimensions. Let's revisit the line charts. To create a line chart, drag your time field to the column shelf and a measure such as sales or profit to the row shelf. Tableau automatically generates a continuous line chart to show the progression of values. You can customize the chart by right-clicking on fields to adjust properties, such as convert to continuous or convert to discrete, to fit your analysis needs. Line charts are ideal for identifying patterns and seasonality in your data. Text tables, also known as crosstabs, are great for presenting raw data in a structured format. In this example, we can see categories like movie titles, average budget, and gross earnings displayed in rows and columns. To create a table, drag fields into the columns and row shelves to ensure that the data is represented as text values. While visualizations are powerful, text tables remain an essential tool for showing granular data to stakeholders who prefer numbers, like managers and C-level executives. So right now I want you to drag title year to the row shelf, drag movie title to the row shelf below title year, and drag average budget and max and gross to the column shelf. Right-click on budget and choose average to create average budget measure. Right-click on gross and choose maximum to create max gross measure. Now we're going to format the fields. Go to each measure in the column shelf, right-click, and choose Format to adjust and display as currency or to add commas. Adjust the alignment and font styling under Format pane. Click on the Analysis menu and ensure accurate measures are checked. Remove any unnecessarily grid lines and adjust row column sizes for clarity. You can also sort data by title year or any measure like average budget by clicking on the column header. Formatting text tables enhances readability and helps communicate data effectively. To format, right-click on a field, choose Format, and adjust options like currency, alignment, and number position. Filters allow you to narrow down data and focus on specific values or ranges. In Tableau, you can add filters by dragging a field to the filter shelf. Once added, you can customize the filter by selecting the values you want to include or exclude. Filters can also be displayed as interactive controls, like drop-down menus or sliders, for end users to dynamically adjust the view. Histograms are used to visualize the distribution of a single measure. To create a histogram, right-click the measure you want to analyze and select Create, then choose Bins. Tableau automatically suggests a bin size, but you can customate this to better fit your data. Bins group continuous data into ranges, making it easy to see how values are distributed. This is particularly useful for identifying patterns, outliers, or clusters in your data. Here's an example of a completed histogram. The x-axis represents the range of values, and the y-axis shows the frequency or count of occurrences within each bin. This visualization helps you quickly understand the spread and shape of your data distribution. Histograms are a great starting point for statistical analysis and can reveal insights that might not be apparent in other types of visualizations. Grouping in Tableau helps you combine values into a single category. To create a group, right-click a field and select Create and choose Group. This is particularly useful for consolidating data, such as combining multiple countries into regions or grouping product categories. You can manually select items to include in the group or let Tableau suggest groupings based on similarities. Grouping simplifies data and enhances clarity, making it easier to understand and analyze. Hierarchies in Tableau allow you to organize data fields into a logical structure for drill down analysis. For example, you can create a hierarchy with country and genres, enabling users to explore data at different levels of detail. Simply drag one field onto another in the data pane to establish a hierarchy. This is especially useful for dashboards as users can expand or collapse levels to see more or less detail as needed. Hierarchies are essential for creating interactive dashboards and user-friendly visualizations. Scatter plots are excellent for analyzing relationships between two measures. To create one, drag a measure to the column shelf and another to the row shelf. Tableau will automatically generate the scatter plot. Adding a trend line helps visualize patterns or correlations in the data. Right-click on the scatter plot and select trend lines to include them. This combination is useful for understanding the strength and direction of relationships, such as sales versus profit or budget versus revenue. Scatter plots and trend lines are powerful tools for statistical and predictive analysis. Maps in Tableau are powerful for visualizing geographic data. To create a map, drag a geographic field, such as country or state, to the columns or rows shelf. Tableau will automatically recognize it as a geographic data and generate a map. Maps are ideal for analyzing data across locations, such as sales performance by region or customer distribution globally. Tableau makes it easy to overlay data points on the map for added insights. Formatting maps allows you to enhance their appearance and readability. You can access map formatting options by clicking Map in the toolbar and selecting Map Options. You can adjust the layers, like borders, background, and labels, to fit the context of your data. Use the marks card to control how data is displayed on the map. For instance, by changing colors or adjusting sizes based on metrics like average duration or total sales. Tableau also has a predictions and forecast feature. Tableau's forecasting feature helps predict future trends using historical data. To add a forecast, right click on a chart and select Add Forecasts. Tableau will generate a predictive model based on the data trends. Tableau also allows you to refine your forecast with additional customization. To access forecasting options, right click on the chart and select Edit Forecast. You can adjust settings such as forecast length, model type, and confidence intervals. Tableau's forecasting capabilities are powered by statistical models, which analyze patterns in your data to make predictions. Refining these settings ensures that your forecasts align with the specific need of your analysis. Now that you've gotten comfortable creating visualizations, let's talk about dashboards. Dashboards in Tableau bring multiple visualizations together in one place. A dashboard can include several worksheets, filters, and additional context to provide a comprehensive view of your data. Storytelling. For example, in our IMDb Movies dashboard, you can see a map, data table, key metrics side by side. Dashboards are perfect for monitoring and comparing a variety of data simultaneously, making them highly effective for presentations and decision making. Customizing your dashboard title is an important detail for professional presentations. In Tableau, you can toggle the dashboard title on or off by checking Show Dashboard Title. You can also customize the font size, alignment, and border to make the title stand out. For example, a clear and professional title, like IMDb Movies Dashboard, helps your audience immediately understand the focus of your analysis. Adding polished titles ensures that your dashboard is both functional and visually appealing. Dashboard shading in Tableau allows you to adjust the background of your dashboard elements for better visual contrast. You can customize the shading by selecting Format from the toolbar and choosing Shading. Use subtle colors or gradients to make your visualization stand out without overwhelming the viewer. Shading is a simple yet effective way to enhance the clarity and aesthetic appeal of your dashboards. Tableau provides two layout options for placing elements on the dashboard: floating and tiled. Tiled elements are snapped into a grid and automatically resized to fit the layout. Floating elements can be moved and resized freely, giving you more flexibility to position components exactly where you want them. You can toggle between these options by right-clicking on an element, selecting Layout, and choosing either floating or tiled. Customizing dashboard size ensures it looks good on different devices and screen resolution. Tableau allows you to set a fixed size or use a range of sizes for responsive layouts. For example, you can set a custom size of 1200 by 800 pixels or enable device preview to see how your dashboard appears on different devices. Adjusting dashboard sizing ensures that your visualizations are accessible and well presented across all platforms. On this slide, we're formatting tables in Tableau. First, go to the sheet you want to format, then under Format Shading, change the pane and header colors and row banding and worksheet to black. Next, go to the Format Font panel and change the font color to white. This contrast will make your data stand out and improve readability on dark backgrounds. To link filters across worksheets in your dashboard, Right click the filter and go to Apply to Worksheets. From there, choose Selected Worksheets to control whether the filter is applied. In the pop up window, check the boxes for the worksheets you want to filter to affect, like Maps worksheet shown here. Click OK, and the filter will now apply to all selected sheets, making your dashboards more interactive and consistent. Adding icons to your dashboard can enhance the visual appeal and provide context. In Tableau, you can add an icon by selecting Image from the Objects panel and uploading your desired image. For example, the IMDb logo can be added to a dashboard showcasing movie-related data. Icons help make dashboards more engaging and provide a polished, branded look. URL actions in Tableau enhance interactivity by linking your dashboard to internal resources. To create a URL action, go to Dashboard in the toolbar and select Actions and choose Add Action URL. Define the URL how you want to link and configure the settings. For example, you can link to a website, additional reports, or other Tableau dashboards. URL actions make your dashboards more dynamic, providing users with seamless access to additional context or related information. Publishing your Tableau dashboard is the final step in sharing your analysis with others. Once your dashboard is complete, you can publish it to Tableau Server, Tableau Cloud, or Tableau Public. Publishing enables others in your organization or the wider public to view, interact with, or gain insights from your work. For example, in the IMDb Movies dashboard, publishing it makes the analysis accessible to decision makers or collaborators in real time. So, why publish your Tableau work? First, publishing allows you to collaborate and share with others across your organization, even with people who don't use Tableau Desktop. They can view, interact with, and download your dashboards. Second, it helps you to centralize data management. By publishing data models, everyone accesses the same source, ensuring consistency across your reports. And third, publishing supports mobility. You can access your dashboards from anywhere, whether it's through a browser or through the Tableau mobile app. Overall, publishing widens your impact and brings your data to more people. When publishing elaborate dashboards, you have to worry about optimization and timing of downloading. So before publishing, you can create what's called an extract. You can create an extract, which are subsets of your original dataset optimized for performance. To create an extract, go to the Data menu, select Extract Data, and choose the fields and filters you want to include. Extracts improve dashboard performance by reducing data load times and enabling offline access. By using extracts ensures that your published dashboards are fast, efficient, and reliable for users. Once you're done with your dashboard and creating the necessary customizations, you can publish it through Tableau Public. Tableau Public is a straightforward way to share your dashboards to a wider audience, or even future hiring managers. To publish, go to File, select Save to Tableau Public, and log in with your Tableau Public credentials. Give your workbook a title, such as Saturday Class or First Dashboard, or IMDb Movies Dashboard. Once published, your dashboard is accessible online, allowing others to view it and interact with it. It's an excellent option for showcasing your work in an open access environment. Now let's work on some Tableau advanced skills in order to do some advanced dashboards for your job. A calculated field in Tableau is a custom field created by applying formulas, logic, or mathematical operations to existing data fields in your dataset. These fields allow you to derive new values or metrics that don't already exist in the original data, enabling deeper analysis or more dynamic visualizations. To create a calculated field, right-click in the data pane and select Create Calculated Field. For example, if your data set doesn't include a specific field, like profit margin, you can use formulas to calculate it directly in Tableau. Calculated fields help answer specific business questions and add flexibility to your analysis. Sets allow you to define custom groups of data points based on certain conditions. To create a set, right click on a field and select Create, then choose Set. For example, you can create a set that includes only China and Canada from a list of countries. Sets can be dynamic, updating automatically based on criteria, or fixed, based on manually selected values. They're useful for comparative analysis, such as isolating specific regions or customer segments. Let's create a documentary set. First, filter your data set to show only rows where the genre includes documentary. Then right-click and create a set based on that selection. This allows you to isolate and analyze only the documentary films in your data, which can be useful for focused insights and comparisons. A parameter is a variable that can replace the constant value in a calculation, filter, or reference line. Parameters can be used to change the behavior of a visualization and can be changed while viewing the data. For example, you may create a calculated field that returns true if sales is greater than 500,000 and otherwise returns false. You can replace the constant value of 500,000 in the formula with the parameter. Then, using the control, you can dynamically change the threshold in your calculation. Quick table calculations allow you to perform common calculations without the need to create new fields. Right-click on a measure in your visualization, hover over Quick Table Calculation, and choose from options like running total, percent of total, or moving average. These calculations update instantly, helping you analyze data trends and patterns more effectively. For example, you can quickly see cumulative sales over time or calculate percentages to compare segments. Quick table calculations save time and add powerful analytical capabilities to your visualizations. Now let's talk LOD calculations. LOD functions are a set of advanced calculations in Tableau that allow users to perform complex calculations across different levels of detail within their data. They allow users to define the level of detail for a particular calculation, regardless of the level of aggregation in their view. I provided a video to go over LOD calculations, sets, parameters, and calculated fields. Please check it out and practice in Tableau Public. Here we have an example of an LOD calculation that shows the average IMDb score across movie titles. Each bar represents a group of movies, and we're counting how many titles fall into each average score range. This helps us understand how movie ratings are distributed and identify where most titles cluster, whether that's around average scores or outliers. Using LODs here allows us to calculate the average IMDb score at the title level, even if the view is aggregated differently. These are the top Tableau best practices that I've learned throughout my career to ensure you have effective and professional data visualizations. Define your purpose. Start by clearly understanding the goals of your dashboard and guide your design. Always think problem solving. Use the right chart type. Always match the chart type to the data and the story you want to tell. Limit visual clutter. Remove unnecessary grid lines, borders, and extra elements to maintain focus and key insights. A lot of Tableau developers would like to add a lot of data visualizations to dashboards, and a lot from what I've learned in my career, typically simple yet sweet dashboards are the most effective. Focus on user experience. Design intuitive layouts with logical navigation to make your dashboards user-friendly. In many instances, your users aren't as familiar as Tableau as you are. So having a simple yet effective dashboard and an easy user experience is the most effective for that user. Also, use filters and parameters. Add interactivity to allow users to explore and customize data. Leverage LOD calculations so you can do really deep dive in data analytics and really impress your audiences. Also apply consistent formatting. You don't want to have visualizations or dashboards in which they have different colors and formats, and it really takes away from the ultimate business insights that you want to convey. Apply consistent formatting as well as highlighting key insights. So use color or annotations to draw attention to critical data points. A lot of times in with C-level executives or even managers, they focus on more budget and currency, whereas operationally they focus on more resources and operational budget, such as inventory. Test for performance. If you're the only data analyst on your team or Tableau developer on your team, get feedback. Get feedback from someone cross functionally, get feedback from a team member, or even your manager if they have time. And also provide context. Add titles, captions, tooltips to make data easy to understand and actionable. These practices help create dashboards that are not just visually appealing, but also highly functional and impactful. Now that you've completed your first Tableau dashboard, I want you to start by taking this dashboard, very common, and re-engineer the dashboard and create it in your own way. You can either do it exactly like how Tableau Public has it, or you can customize it so that you can impress the hiring managers for the jobs that you're going for. It's a very good exercise for you to really get started into not only data analysis, but also the Tableau industry. To conclude this module, let's reiterate the importance of data visualization and storytelling. Data visualization, it plays a key role in communicating insights clearly and effectively. It enhances our understanding of complex data, identifies trends and patterns, and ensures alignment across teams. Visualization builds trust and credibility. It improves decision making and supports better communication across the organization. It drives audience engagement and makes insights more actionable, ultimately increasing efficiency and impact across the business. Let's review how to choose the right chart for your data. Now, if you've already completed our Excel portion of this course, you already have the right tools and knowledge to choosing the right chart. But for all you others, we're going to do a quick review of what you should do in Tableau. Now, Tableau does have a automatic feature to choose charts for you, but this is just for your knowledge and if you're doing charts and dashboards on the fly. So with the line chart, you'll use a line chart to show trends over time. A bar or column chart is great for comparing categories or values. Now, if you're showing parts of a whole, go with the pie chart or a donut chart to display proportions or percentages. Use a scatter plot to analyze relationships between variables. And when you want to highlight patterns or ranges in a matrix, a heat map helps you visualize high and low values clearly. Choosing the right chart makes your insights easier to understand and act on. To conclude this module, I wanted to give you another homework assignment, and that's to involve yourself in the Tableau community. Typically, in every city around the United States and even in the world, there's a Tableau community of Tableau creators that create dashboards for businesses and honestly for fun. It's a huge Tableau community. I believe as of 2025, they have over 15,000 Tableau developers. And it's a really great community, very hands on. They even have Tableau conferences in the United States and the UK, places like that, where you can not only connect personally, but also do competitions. There's also, you can literally start with just Tableau and create a career within Tableau and even data visualization. It's that popular because insights are key to business decisions and business strategies. Additionally, I've included some resources and certifications that are very useful as a data analyst. The main one I want you to focus on is Tableau Certified Data Analyst. Once you've got one, maybe two or three dashboards under your belt, I want you to go for this certification. You should be good enough by now just doing the IMDb dashboard. But just to get more practice, I want you to do 3 dashboards. One of them, the IMDb, you've already created. The second, the Superstore. And the third, just pick a dashboard that's something in a in Tableau Public in a subject that you're interested in and re-engineer it. And maybe actually let's add a fourth. Let's add a fourth and do the fourth with your own data set. And that would give you the knowledge to go for this Tableau certified data analyst. It costs $250 and it's very useful and it shows employers that you're an expert in Tableau and you can handle their data. So hopefully you've enjoyed this module. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out and I will see you in the next module. Tableau is a powerful visualization tool, but it has many unique terminologies and definitions. So let's get familiar with these terminologies and definitions before we start our first bar chart exercise. So as we discussed, we talked about the dimensions and the measures. The dimensions typically show qualitative data that Tableau reads from the data source, which our data source is movie metadata in this case, and the measures pane in which it shows quantitative data from our data source, which is movie metadata. So we have this data pane, and we also have the analytics pane here, which you can do very clear and accurate, succinct customizations of your data visualization using the summarized model and custom. It has box plots, cluster analysis, totals, box plot, average with 95 CI, constant, average line, median with quartiles. Pretty much great statistics to use depending on what case and what requirement that you have and what you want to show to the client or to the stakeholder. So we have the data and analytics pane. We have columns and rows. Through this columns and rows, you're already familiar with it in Excel. What we do is we, for example, we would take a dimension and place it here under columns, and it'll show this at new member, and you'll see something. It looks like a pill, and it's called a pill. So these are pills, and both dimensions and measures can be pills. Let's go ahead and remove that. Just wanted to show you in the shelf, column shelf and row shelf. And then we have obviously the pages and then the filter card. The filters are similar to Excel filters in which you would filter the data on the data that you need to show in the visualization. Then you have the marks card, which has mark shelves. Now these mark shelves, you can drag dimensions and measures to create cool visualizations. So you have the color shelf, the size shelf, the text shelf, the detail shelf, and the tool tip shelf. So for example, if you wanted to drag, let's drag budget to color. It'll show, blue automatically, but if you wanted to change it to a different color, you could. But once you get more advanced, you'll start to use more of the marks card and the mark shelf, and it'll be easier to visualize mentally versus just this. So just get familiar and get familiar with the worksheet. So you have the data source tab. You have, these are called worksheets, is what we're working in. Similar to Excel, it's very Tableau is very user friendly. It's one of the most user friendly data visualizations, but also one of the most powerful out there. These are worksheets, and we use each of these worksheets to build what is called a dashboard. If you want to look at really cool dashboards, go to tablowpublic.com. Just Google it, ChatGPT it, and you'll see some very cool visualizations. And there's entire communities within Tableau, not only in your city, not only in your country, state, city, but also online. So you have the worksheets in which you go to the dashboard, and you can use dashboards to create stories. Now remember what I talked about as far as the better data analysis, data analysts and data scientists are great at storytelling, at communicating. There's many great, in terms of intelligent and capable data analysts and data scientists, but the ones that can actually do the data as well as communicate the findings in a clear and trust and credible way are usually the folks that really do well in this career. Let's see, what else do we have? And we're going to build all of this throughout this course. I just wanted to get you familiar with the terminology. And let's see, what else? And we have, let's see, last but not least, there's other things as well. I'm just giving you the basic structure. Last but not least, when you are building a dashboard, there's such a thing called, standard. This drop down has standard, fit width, fit height, or entire view. This matters when you're building a dashboard because essentially there's certain views that stakeholders have. Maybe they're viewing your dashboard on a phone, maybe they're viewing it on a PC or maybe a Mac. And typically we go standard view. And this is something to play around with once and customize once you get to the dashboard section and once you start building more visualizations as well. So that being said, let's get started with building our first visualization. Now let's talk about filters. So in the caption it says to go back to text table exercise 2 and add a country filter. On the view, use multiple values drop down. So we named our text table exercise 2 country metadata. So we'll go to that, and here we are with our text table, and we already have country on the row shelf. So there's 3 ways to add filters in Tableau. There's adding it directly using the pill to filters, using the analysis tab. This is a lot of your toolkit within Tableau, within this analysis tab. Very, very important. You can add country here, or what I like to do is work within the worksheet and just right click and just add show filter. On the right side it will show you each filter that you add. So you can add a multitude of filters. You can add movie title. I don't know if you've seen the show filter. There's multiple. There's title. You can literally have 5 or 6 different filters, but right now we're going to add one filter, and it asks us to change it to multi-values drop-down. So we're going to add a multi-value drop-down, and what this does is whatever selection you pick, you can select multiple values. So if you want to do all A countries and then all C countries, you can do so. There's also other options as well, and when you start to build dashboards, you can see what's the better view and the better. Main important thing is thinking about your stakeholder or user who's using your dashboard and what's best for them. So after we change it to drop down, we can move on to histogram. Now we talked about histograms in our as well as other data visualizations within our Excel module, but let's briefly talk about it in Tableau and let's build it. So a histogram is a type of bar chart or bar graph used to represent distribution of a data set. It groups data into intervals called bins, or I call them buckets, and displays the frequency of the data points in the bin. So for example, if you have 5 people in front of you, 2 of them are children, 2 of them are teenagers, 1 of them is an adult. You could bucket them in a bin and use a histogram to classify them in a data visualization. So you would put obviously the children in one, the teenagers in the other, and the adult in its own. So let's do that. In this context, this is IMDb scores and the total amount of movies. So there are 1 through 7 IMDb, and you can only get a score of between 1 and 7, and it will bucket. Let's say movies are classified, they get an IMDb score of 5, 5.2, 5.5, 5.7, the classified under 5. If it's bucketed under 7, 7.5, 7.2, 7.8, also bucketed under 7. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to change IMDb score over to a dimension, and we are going to create a bin. And when you right click, you'll see calculated field, group, set, then parameter. We'll go over calculated field, group, set, and parameter throughout this module, but we'll start with bin. And as you can see, you see the range of values. You see 1.6 and 7.9, which is the range of total applicable scores. So we'll just go ahead and change it 1 just to keep it simple. And you'll see IMDb score bin now as an additional pill, and we'll move that to columns. And now they're bucketed as bins. But it also needs some data. So we are going to take movie titles, add each one, and do a count. There we go. So now we're going to see, as you can see, it really, histogram is really useful because it visualizes the central tendency of continuous data. Things like skewness, gaps, outliers. So this, you can immediately see that majority of movies are scored anywhere between 5 and 7, with 6 being the most prominent. And that is our filters and histogram tab, histogram exercise. Let's go over to our scatter plot example. Now let's discuss scatter plot. So a scatter plot is a type of graph used to display and analyze a relationship between two numerical variables. Previously in this module, we've only been working with categorical variables within bar charts. This is a numerical variable data visualization. It's very useful for identifying patterns, correlations, trends, and clusters, or even outliers in data. For example, you can observe whether the variables are positively correlated or negatively correlated. So in this case, we are working with IMDb scores and movie Facebook likes. What are the relationship? And we're asking ourselves, what is the relationship between IMDb scores and movie Facebook likes? So in Tableau, it's a useful. Tableau typically takes a lot of our measurable data and aggregates it automatically for us. Unlike Excel, unless you're doing a pivot table, it automatically does it through measures. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to change one of our pills. We're going to have to change both to dimensions in order to get instead of an aggregated view, a view of each of the dots in the scatter plot. So we're working with IMDb score, which is already as a dimension from our histogram exercise. And we are looking for movie Facebook likes, which is already a measure. So we're going to, again, it's already aggregated. If I move movie Facebook likes to our row shelf, obviously it's already aggregating. That's the beauty of Tableau, it aggregates for you. But we don't need that. We need actually a breakdown of each data point. So we're going to first move it to a dimension, and then we're going to add to our visualization, build our visualization, and movie Facebook likes. What is the correlation between IMDb score and movie Facebook likes? We're going to change it to continuous. And as you can see, we've built our scatter plot. And as you can see, there's a positive correlation between IMDb score and movie Facebook likes. And a positive correlation is essentially an increase. The more there's a correlation between IMDb scores. The more IMDb scores, the higher the IMDb score, the more Facebook likes. And we can show that using a trend line. So let's add our trend line. And as you can see, it's a positive correlation. So that's typically what a scatter plot is. Let's do another one. Let's recreate the previous chart. Let's do IMDb in gross. So let's show, and obviously you can immediately think and say, hey, there probably is a positive correlation between IMDb score and gross income from what a movie makes. But let's plot it. So we're going to go to IMDb score, place it here, and then gross, we're going to change this to dimension and add it to the rows. And then we are going to change it into continuous and continuous. And as you can see, there's also a positive correlation as well. Add a trend line. So for our stakeholder, it immediately shows that there's some outliers as well. You can view the data, and this could be anywhere. This could be, well, you'd actually have to export it. But there's always outliers of data. This is probably, it could be Avatar or Titanic, something that had a high IMDb score, but just made a significantly more money than any other movie. This is where it also shows skewness as well. So it's a really good data visualization to really for our viewer to see how their data is apparent. And that's our scatter plot example. Let's move forward to maps and predictions. So now we're at our maps exercise, and that's when Tableau gets really cool in terms of what it can do. I've built dashboards within maps that allow pinpoint data points in various states and various cities to where you can really see, for example, I built a dashboard for a client to show devices within certain city blocks, within city blocks, which is really cool and very useful, especially if you're dealing with, for example, an operational team. So Maps is one of the really cool features of Tableau, and let's start building our first map. So we have create a map that shows average IMDb movie score by country. Differentiate by color scale and name the worksheet maps. So let's go ahead and take average. Let's do average IMDb score. So we'll do that, and we will do an average IMDb score. And then we will do score by country. We'll take the country, and you can only, if you go to the map, it's grayed out now, but we're about to build it. For a simple map, you need at least one geographical dimension, 0 more dimensions, or 0 to 2 measures. So we already have at least one measure, so it fits the requirement. Now we need a geo dimension. So we have that for country. So we'll add country here, and then we'll click maps, and there you go. We've built our first map. But this isn't very useful, right? You don't really see, which countries have which, the average IMDb score for which country. So let's make it more useful. Again, we're always thinking about the end user and how and what looks easier for them. So if we click on it, it says country Canada, average IMDb score 6.1, so that's good. So let's go ahead and change the color scheme so we can use one of our marks cards in the color scheme. And we can, let's actually bring down, let's do a average IMDb score, and we will place the IMDb score under average, under the on the colors card, and it immediately classifies, but we don't want blue, right? We want to make it and very differentiated in terms of the color scale. So we'll edit our colors, and we will do, let's do a We'll do 2 colors, and we will use gold and purple diverging. And in terms of gold and purple diverging, we want to use a 5-step color, so we can go ahead and do that. So we can keep it as is, apply it, and yeah, okay, so here we go there. We can also do something like add a country as far as size. So let's try that. So we can show sizes of, this kind of shows which countries have typically higher IMDb scores. That's not going to be useful for us. Let's add, what are we looking for? We will add, we can always, that's too easy. We're going to add label, show mark label. It shows that. And let's do this. We are going to do the color scheme, add a map, and from a map we can show, and these are neat tools that you can use as far as navigating your map. So this shows a lot better for our visualization, and that's more art than science when you get more comfortable in Tableau. And I'll give you resources. There's also certifications within Tableau to get certified in Tableau, and it looks great on your resume. So this shows a way better comparison to what we were just working with. It shows obviously the more purple a country is, the higher the IMDb score. Let's see what else we want to do. We can change the label to, we have a default font. We can add bold. So we can add a bold here. Yeah, I think this is good so far. As you can see, Canada is 6.1, but it looks a lot cleaner and a lot better. And then you can even add a tooltip and really customize tooltips. So going back to my previous example of the dashboard that I created, you can create useful features and even code within tooltips that'll show on your dashboard. Now let's talk about our predictions and forecasts exercise. Tableau has a feature within it that you could predict and forecast your data. So in this case, this is make a prediction for average duration for the next 3 years. So breaking this problem down, we have 2 components of it, average duration and then the years. So what we're going to do is we are going to identify the year, so that's title year, what we've been working with, add it to the columns, and then the duration, add it to the rows. This is sum of duration, so we're going to change it to average. And as you can see, you're seeing an average of the duration of the movies over time. Looks like a steady decrease in movies, and that could be for, it's a great data point to explore further. In this case, we want to add a forecast for the next 3 years. So you can go to analysis, this is where most of your tools are, and you could click forecast and show forecast, and it will show an actual and an estimate of your data set. So right now it's defaulting to most likely 12 years, but let's go ahead and change the forecast, show forecast options. Exactly 3. So it's defaulting to 3. So it has an automatic next 3 years, exactly 3 years, and it will show you at 95% prediction intervals. Currently using source data from 1956 to 2015 to create a forecast through 2018. And this feature is very useful for when you're dealing with time series data, time series projects. For example, a stock market, to predict stock market prices within the next 3 years or in a time frame. Very useful for your stakeholders to, or let's say you're doing a dashboard as far as a marketing budget or operational cost. So this tool is very useful when you're building your dashboards and reports for executive leadership or just different business insights. So now let's move on and we will build our dashboard with our visualizations that we've built. Now we're moving on to our dashboard portion of our Tableau module. As you can see, you'll see we've been working with our worksheets within Tableau, and now we are on the dashboard portion of it. And you'll see two panes. You'll see a dashboard and layout pane. So in the dashboard pane, you'll see device preview. Once you build the dashboard, you'll see pretty much a preview of how that dashboard looks on a mobile device or an iPad or a laptop, PC, things like that. And you can adjust the size based on that. But typically, I like to leave a lot of these sizes default. And when you look at it, it's a fixed size, and that way it won't change its size on no matter what your stakeholder, what the user of this dashboard, what device they're working with. It's just easier and more consistent. So then you'll see the sheets. As you can see the sheets. All of these sheets we've worked on, we've completed the visualizations. And like I said before, we're going to take our visualizations and add it to make it more useful for the users of this dashboard for business insights. Again, it's always thinking about solving the problem in data analysis as well as the end user. Let's make it easier. It's almost a customer service role. How can I make it easier for my viewer to view insights? So you'll see these worksheets in which we'll add, and pretty much how we'll build it is it's more art than science. I like to use and visualize how I'm going to put each visualization that I've built to make the information more viewable. In doing so, we're going to use objects. Now, these objects here are the objects to build the dashboard. As you can see, we have horizontal containers, vertical containers, text extension, pulse, so on and so forth, data, all the way down to download. The main objects you will use to build your dashboards are horizontal and vertical containers, text for building titles, different columns, images for when you're putting your logo in blank if you want to add blank space, or if you want to manipulate blank spaces within your dashboard, as well as web page as well if you want your user to go to a separate outside window on a web page, depending on what your case is. So a horizontal container, these are containers. Think of it as areas to reserve within your dashboard. So if you've ever taken an art class, you can take a piece of paper, and if you want to reserve 3 areas on the piece of paper, you'll draw 2 lines within your dashboard, and then that way you'll have 3 rectangles in which to put pictures in. It's the same concept. So let's add what we're going to do. We want to add 3 visualizations as well as a logo on our dashboard. So I like to start with the horizontal container, and we'll add it here. And as you can see, it's pretty user friendly. You'll see this is already defaulted as an image. This is for your logo, but we're going to make our own. So that's 1 container, 2 containers, and 3 containers. And they're adjustable as well. And what you'll notice is once you see our 3 containers, you'll see it in the layout pane as well. And this is where you can position and size the containers. You can even make them floating. I typically don't use floating. I like to keep everything consistent throughout my dashboards as well as each device. Typically I use border and background. This is where you can adjust and really format. And if you, and outer padding, inner padding, these are all borders. And you'll also notice the item hierarchy here in which you can keep track of what you've added to your dashboard. So now that we have the areas of that we've reserved. Let's add some visualization. So let's add, we're going to add the country metadata. That's our tabular view. In my experience, stakeholders, users that use your Tableau dashboard, they love having just a borderline summary of the snapshot of what's going on in terms of your business insights. Let's say it's operational. They love a snapshot first, so I always typically include a table of the data. So let's add that. We're also going to add gross income. So with gross income, like I said before, they also, I mean, most companies, it's, you know, the main goal is to obviously increase their profit margin. So adding some form of a monetary visualization is always something useful. And this can always be a baseline, so you can always adjust the dashboard as needed. And in the data analytics process, typically it's never just a completed product. Typically there's always iterations of, iterations or improvements of that dashboard or that report to make it useful to the audience. So now we have trend, gross income, and country metadata. Let's add the map. Users love having a map. We're going to bring country up here. There we go. And we're going to make some more space. So we're going to delete this, and make more space for this map. There we go. Tabular view. And you can always adjust the spacing as well, so there you go. There we go. Okay. We'll keep it here. We can always zoom this way. And so we have maps, trend, gross income, country metadata. So this is pretty much the start of your dashboard. You could leave it as is, but typically I like to wow, and most data analysts like to wow the audience. So I like to make a theme through, and this is more art than science, I like to make themes and just get creative as far as showing the right view for your audience. So if we're talking about movies, if we're working with movies, I like to, I'm thinking nighttime, screen, cinema, and also keeping the theme of the IMDb website itself. I'm sure you've been to it if you're a fan of movies like I am. Let's make this dashboard black. So let's do this. Let's change. This is where you can start to format, and it gets more creative after you build the dashboard. So we're going to make the worksheet black. Make each visualization black. There we go. Format, make sure we're shading it all black. Title black. There we go. And let's see, we're going to take this out. We're going to add another border. Let's add a vertical. And then we're going to add our logo here. So we're going to add it, we're going to put an image on top of this container. And then we're going to choose our logo. One sec. Here's our logo when it comes up. So So we're going to choose our logo. Let's do this. Apply, fit image. It's not too bad. We'll fit image for now, but we might make some adjustments later. So we'll click here, we'll edit image. Let's see, what else do we want to do to this? Layout, we'll add background black. We'll add background black. Background black. It's looking more of a movie dashboard. And then let's change these labels to white. So Tableau public. Tableau has just a huge community for just of creators. Very useful community. Very motivated community in terms of creating the most creative dashboards around the world, really. It's helped tremendously in my career, and it should help you tremendously. It's Tableau Public. They have a Tableau visualization of the day. They typically have meetups within your city, state, or even country. So really connect with the Tableau community. I'll provide additional resources in this module. It will really enhance your Tableau game, and in doing so, you'll be sought after as far as a Tableau guru and really grow within your career and skill set. So let's see where we're at. Let's see what else. This is looking very good, very promising. Let's go ahead and change this map to dark. So we're writing. These are all right clicks. And let's change this to gray. So we're going to go to the worksheet. We're going to really right click on the worksheet, and we can go to sheet. Actually, let's go to the worksheet. Let's go to the worksheet format. We're looking for row hang. Yeah, right. And then we're going to do a darker gray. Let's do an even darker gray. No, it's too dark. Let's do it's not too bad. Let's do a let's do a darker gray, and then we'll just make the words. We'll make the words white. So worksheet, show them white. Go back to the dashboard. Much better, much better. Let's also make these words white as well. Great. And that's pretty much it. So as you can see IMDb. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Let's actually add a website. It can actually default to the website. So we can go http imdb.com. Apply. So when the user wants to see this data, they can click this and it'll default to the website as well. So let's see, any improvements that you can make. So, okay, here's an improvement. This is showing mostly, it is showing the entire amount of title years within the data. However, most of the data is skewed mostly to the present day. So what we can do is we can go to the worksheet and do a filter from the title year. We can do a range of dates, and let's do it right around, let's do 1960, range of dates. So we can do 1160, apply, and it allows the viewer to see a bit more of we can always add it all the way to 1987, but allows the viewer to get a bit more of a better view of trend gross income. And then we're going to take this filter. We want it to, because right now it defaults to only the filter of its visualization. So this is from the map. So it'll only do, no, this is from the title. So it'll only default to that. So let's say if we do Brazil, it'll only change Brazil. We want this to affect the entire worksheet. So we'll go to apply to worksheets, all using related sources. And there, if we click Brazil again, it'll default and show Brazil only, or any other country. So that's how to do a dashboard. It's pretty straightforward, very user-friendly. Again, really just practice this. Find data sets using Kaggle.com or other data sets on any public data set, and really just play around and create your own account within Tableau Public and play around with the visualizations and just get familiar. And there's even certifications. There's groups. And it's a really cool community. I mean, this is a role within itself. If you want to solely just do dashboards, if you're just more on the creative side, you want to be an analyst, but you're more on the creative side. It's really, I've used Tableau for 10 years, huge fan. Power BI is great as well. That's another one that also has a community. I'm going to add a module with Power BI to teach you Power BI. So you'll be a complete data analyst. So next we're going to move to calculated fields, sets, parameters, and these are the more advanced quick table calculations in LOD. And hopefully you've enjoyed our module so far. Now we're going to create our own calculated fields. So the first one says create your own calculated field. An index, this will rank based on index by looking at a physical position of the record without any regards to value. So a little bit about calculated fields. Calculated fields are essentially a place where you can create your own script to calculate certain fields. So you can actually calculate measures within this. You can calculate different statistics within calculated fields. This will show all the statistics needed and what the capabilities of calculated field. But so let's start with our first. We'll do a simple one called index. So we'll just name it rank, and we will index, could apply. And basically what this does, if we go back to any visualization, we can rank based on physical position of the record without any regard to value. So to essentially rank 1 through 10. Moving forward, we're going to create a gross budget to gross to budget ratio. So we have gross here and budget here. And if we put gross and budget, you'll notice these are two separate measures, but what we can do is actually create another field within them um, pretty much the ratio of gross budget. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this off and we are going to create our new calculated field, and we'll name it gross budget ratio. Gross budget. As you can see, it's valid. And this pretty much creates a gross budget ratio. So when you, let's say, for example, let's do, we'll do movie, we'll do movie title. Do a table format. Movie title gross budget ratio of 1. Do a movie title format. We'll do the gross. I want this to be a table, actually. And budget. So we have the budget, we have the gross, and then we can add the ratio here. Budget gross ratio. So let's do, so it looks like it is calculating and it's rounding up to the nearest. So what we can do is we can go to gross budget ratio and we can format. Ratio format, and we can do a number. We'll do a custom number, decimal place of 2. Let's do 4. And this gives a better ratio of budget to gross. So we have, for example, Too Fast, Too Furious. We have, 76 million for its budget. It grossed 127, roughly 127 million, and as a result, there's an increase. There's obviously a positive ratio of 1.6722, and so on and so forth. That's pretty much how it is. So a calculated field is very powerful. You can create entire fields based on the data that you have. Moving forward, if we wanted to do so let's take this off the board, off the worksheet rather. Let's do a third one. And that is create a content rating analysis. So content rating analysis is essentially doing a bucket listing of content ratings. And it's pretty straightforward. You would simply just copy and paste, or you can make your own calculated field. And we'll call that content rating analysis. Sometimes it doesn't. There it is. Analysis. If content rating is PG-13, then teen friendly. Else, if content rating is R, then adult. Else, other. So we'll have 3 different buckets. And then we will, let's say we'll do, let's do movie titles. Content rating analysis. And there you have it. It's classifying each based on the bucket we described. But like I said, calculated fields can be simple all the way to complicated. Not complicated, but very elaborate based on the need and what dashboard you're looking for, what data you're working with. So it's very, very useful field. Feel free to play around creating your own calculated fields in your spare time. So now we're going to work on sets. So sets in Tableau are a custom field that defines a subset of data based on the specific conditions. It allows you to group and analyze dynamically by including only certain members from a field or fields. So there's two sets of sets. There's dynamic sets that automatically update when the underlying data changes. That's based on the set's defined conditions. And then you have a fixed set, which is manually created, and their members don't change unless edited. So we're going to do an example of a fixed set, and I want you to play around and make a dynamic set using what you've learned. So right now we have create a set, right-clicking, genres, and select create set. So we're going to right-click genre, and we're going to create a set. And we're going to name the set documentary set. And we're going to select all the documentaries, all the line documentaries within. Okay. We're going to click OK. And here you have a set. So we're going to move the documentary set to filters. And as you can see, you saw very briefly an in and out that just shows what applies to the set, what applies and what doesn't apply based on, certain conditions. And we are going to move in movie title to rows. And then we're going to see a count. So if you notice, we have, obviously more than 1,000 movies in our database, and as you can see, there's 84. So this really specifies, the sets really specify what is in your data. In my experience, it's really useful for filtering, whether dynamically or fixed. So a very useful tool. And feel free to play around creating a fixed set or a dynamic set. So now let's work on parameters. So parameters in Tableau are like a custom input box where you can set a value that interacts with your data or visualizations. Essentially, it's a dynamic way to let you control or adjust something in your visualization. So that's if it's whether of choosing between different measures, sales versus profit, filtering data by a specific threshold, for instance, showing movies with an IMDb score above 8, or even changing a calculation or comparison dynamically. Think of it as like a flexible variable you can use to create in your visualizations. So let's start. So right now we're looking at a bar chart of gross generated by country. You have obviously USA, top UK, Germany, France, so on and so forth. We're going to create our parameter. So we're going to go to dimensions, the dimensions pane, click create parameter, and we're going to name this parameter choose sum of gross or sum of budget. Current value of 1, we're going to click list, and then we are going to add a value of 1 and display as we're going to display as gross, and then we're going to name 2 display as budget. Click OK. So as you can see in the pane on the left, you see the parameter choose sum of gross or sum of budget, but it's not active unless you put it into a calculated field. So always remember that's the second step. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to create a calculated field. So we're going to right click, create calculated field, and it's already in choose sum of gross or sum of budget. We're going to name this P, and P is a designation to remind yourself or to remind your teammates that, because typically in organizations, you work on dashboards together. In some organizations, especially in the beginning of your career, in the end you work on them by yourself. But typically they're in teams because they're usually, very important dashboards. So this is just a designation to show that, hey, there's a parameter in this calculated field.
choose gross or budget. So then we're going to do a case statement. When 1, then sum of gross. When 2, then sum of budget. Tableau already answers that in to help you out. And then hit end, make sure it's valid. It's valid. All right, so we have our calculated field here. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag this onto our visualization. And then we're going to show our parameter. And as you can see, it's a filter on the right side where you can dynamically look at either budget or gross. Very neat feature you can use and build into your visualizations over time. So this is the best practice here. As you can see, it's not as visual, adding a designation, P as parameter. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take out this edit axis. We're just going to take that out in general. And to make it more user-friendly, we can actually add it into that parameter into the title. So that way when the user or stakeholder selects, they can see the whatever visualization is applicable for them. So that's parameters in a nutshell. Very useful feature. Feel free to make your own parameters within this worksheet and continue building in Tableau. Let's work on our quick table calculation exercise. So it says in the caption, duplicate line chart exercise 1 and find the year-over-year percentage difference. Change the chart to text table difference from. So we're going to go to line chart exercise 1. And as you can see, a movie is getting longer over the years. This is our average duration per year. So we would like to see a year-over-year difference of this. So it's very simple. You would just go to, you could either do a right click to quick table calculation and you will click difference. So that'll show the year-over-year difference of duration for each year. As you can see in our quick table calculations, you have running total, the difference, percentage of total, rank, percentile, moving average, year-over-year growth. You can click that, year-over-year growth, you can see that, and it'll give you year-over-year growth. So quick table calculations in a real-world scenario are very, very good when it comes to operational data, when it comes to descriptive analytics, especially budgets, budgets, accounting, data of that nature, and it's really useful. So feel free to play around with it, and even with your own data set, and I'll see you on the next video. So now we're going to create our first LOD calculation. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to create a calculated field called average IMDb score per movie title. We are going to do a fixed one. I know there's 3, so we're going to do a fixed LOD, movie title, and average IMDb score. Make sure the curly brackets match. There we go. So we're going to move this calculated field to dimensions, convert to dimensions, and then we're going to drag it to the columns shelf. And then we're going to drag movie title to rows. Then we're going to change the movie title to count. And this should show the average IMDb score per movie title. So this is just another level. When we were working with the bucket example, the histogram example, in our prior exercise, this is just LODs give you a different way to view your data, whether you want to have a fixed view, include, if you want to include data, exclude data. You literally can change based on LOD your level of granularity, which in advanced cases is very important because essentially it's a matter of making your user or stakeholder happy and seeing what really is relevant and applicable to them. So what is relevant and applicable to one team isn't relevant or applicable to another team. So this just gives you more control instead of the default aggregate view that Tableau does have. And that's it for our Tableau module. I hope you found it very helpful. I'm going to provide some additional resources. Feel free to reach out to me with any additional questions, and I'll see you in our next module.